Gender sensitivity in advertising has been a gradual development. It took advertisers and agency folk some time to give way to bikini-clad, fairness-obsessed, always in the kitchen type for a more empowered person of substance kind of depiction of women. So, to trace this evolution and give us their personal pick of top gender-sensitive ads over the years, we have with us A.L. Sharada from Population First and Meenakshi Menon of Spatial Access. Over to you, ladies.
The way advertising portrays women has also historically been a problem. But I think recently one is seeing a change, a positive change. And considering that you do so much work in the whole area of gender sensitivity, what do you think?
There's been I think, visible change in the last 2-3 years. Maybe because there is a lot of reaction from younger women and men against gender stereotyping, gender violence. And also more and more women are influencing the market, purchase decisions, they are being actively involved. There's more participation of women in the workforce. Also there has been a change. So they are obviously the target of advertising and they cannot ignore them. Particularly with the digital media coming into space, I think they are able to explore the issues in a much more far more elaborate fashion.
No, and I'm glad you mentioned digital media because I think a lot of manufacturers today, advertisers, are concerned about the whole gender issue, not because they are genuinely concerned, but because digital media and social media is immediately ready to pounce on somebody and give them a slap in the face if they are seen to step out of line. And that's when you say thank God for social media, and I'm saying this as a practitioner of advertising. If we believe that because of what we do, people actually go out and buy one brand compared to another brand, then it is our responsibility to say that we don't reflect society, but we actually guide society. Basically, we need a mindfulness in the industry. We must be mindful of the kind of everything, of the language, of the stuff we do. And it's fundamental to advertising because we are changing minds, we are changing attitudes, we are changing behavior. I've been very, very impressed with this current campaign that's running on Ariel, sponsored by Ariel, which is Share the Load. Okay, for one, every time I see that commercial, I want all the men that I know to look at that. No man wants to do laundry, okay? Everywhere across the developed world, laundry is seen as a chore for the individual, okay? Men do their own laundry, women do their own laundry. Here, this commercial, this advertising has for the first time raised this issue. And what I really like about it is that it's the father saying with regret, okay, that I did not help my wife and I was insensitive.
It actually talks of the whole gendering process that happens in the family, where you give a tea set to the girl and you give a newspaper or a cricket ball to the son, and how it actually builds up their images of being a girl or boy and all that, and all the associated roles and responsibilities which are not equal, which are not fair. For me, the Titan Raga ad was really very good because, one thing is it talks of the right of the woman to have a career and also her choice, that she, and it very subtly, in a very effective fashion, reflects the attitude of a man, that how can I be without a job? How can I give up my job?
No, and it's he takes it for granted. Like
if you would leave the job.
Yeah, if you had left your job, we could have had a life together. Again, another of the ads that I really thought was very interesting was the ad for Biba. Now, there what I liked is they took a hackneyed, traditional kind of situation where the girl is going to be seen by a boy and they're looking at an arranged marriage. And by the way, arranged marriages are fine as long as the woman is in a position to exercise her option. But what I liked about this ad is while the entire situation was very hackneyed and traditional, but the boy's response, when the boy says, give me a chance, give me 10 days and I will learn to cook something for you, I thought that was amazing.
And the kind of conversation it created in the social media,
Absolutely.
it was shared extensively, and young people started talking about it, and that is amazing. And so that is it. They're not just selling a product, they're also selling an idea. So there are 2-3 ads which are really very good, which challenge the gender stereotypes of a man. You know, the one which I really like is the Galaxy 4 Note, Samsung Note 4, where they show the man spending time with her daughter, taking her for the parents teacher for her performance, then takes her out for eating somewhere, and then he gets a message, and then he does his work. He takes her to the office, keeps her in her room, makes his presentation, and comes. The work-life balance, which we see only as that of the women, here shows a man achieving that work-home balance. So that is something which is really path-breaking, I felt. And the other one which is in the similar league is the Raymond's Complete Man, where the man actually decides to stay back to look after the sick child so that the woman could go for work. So these are the things, like we really need to question this macho image of a man, and then bring new images of men which are more socially acceptable.
So your number 3 is Samsung,
and the fourth one
is Biba.
Yeah, and my fourth is that ad about the girl who leaves the job because
Mantra.
Mantra ad is amazing, because once again it addresses a very important issue of gender discrimination in workplaces. And then you may say why they put a female boss and not a male boss. So
no, that's not a in fact, interesting thing with the Mantra ad is that they put a woman in that position. Okay, let us not forget that women are as much perpetuating gender stereotypes as men are. And that's the fundamental point that ad makes, which I really salute. I mean, it's a great point.
The fact that here is a woman who challenges that and then takes a stand against it, and it is such a rampant practice that people, organizations just ask women to leave the job when they get pregnant because they don't want to give the 3 months of maternity leave and many other benefits that they have to give the women, especially in the private sector. So it addresses a very serious issue in a very interesting interesting fashion. I think they're really moving beyond the limits, beyond the framework, out of the box thinking to address social issues through advertising. And I think that is amazing. There are 4 or 5 points which you should keep in mind when you're making advertising. That are you giving equal space and equal role to men and women in any advertising? Because I find many youth brands are giving that kind of a space. They have equal number of men and women, young men and women in the advertisement. And the second thing is the way they are addressed, the way they are spoken to in the advertisements is also very important. Third point is, are you promoting certain stereotypes because they are comfortable, they are accepted, they don't cause too much of, disruption in your creative communication? Are you really reflecting the reality? So these are a few points if you can keep in mind. I think the communicators can avoid many of the pitfalls of being gender insensitive in their communication.
And honestly, I frankly think we're seeing a lot more gender sensitive advertising today, because more and more marketers and advertisers are concerned about consumer backlash. And because of social media, it is very easy to, point out something that's offensive. And that has again become a
and it's not just
control.
limited to urban areas, because it's it's also rural
all
and everywhere. So that's one thing which is, I think, really putting the pressure on the advertising community.
Good.